The night air was cold and still. Detective Sergeant Marcus Cole stood outside Kensington Palace, his breath visible in the freezing darkness. He had been a Royal Protection Officer for 12 years. He had seen threats before, but tonight felt different. His radio crackled. A voice came through, tense and urgent. "Marcus, we have movement. 3 vehicles. No registration on file? They're approaching the West Gate." Marcus's heart picked up speed. Prince William was scheduled to leave in 20 minutes. A private visit to a children's hospital. Low profile. Minimal security. The kind of trip that didn't make headlines, but someone knew about it. Marcus moved quickly toward the inner courtyard. His hand rested on his sidearm. Years of training kicked in. He signaled to his team. 2 officers moved to block the main entrance. Another repositioned near the prince's vehicle. The 3 black SUVs came into view. They moved slowly, too slowly. Like they were waiting for something, Marcus spoke into his radio. "Run those plates now." "Already did," came the reply. "They're clean. Registered to a private security firm." "But Marcus, the firm doesn't exist anymore. It was dissolved 6 months ago." A chill ran down his spine. "Before you hear what happens next, make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell icon. This story gets intense, and you won't want to miss a single moment." Marcus made a decision. He approached the lead vehicle. His posture was calm, but his mind was racing. The window rolled down. A man in a dark suit stared back at him. No expression. No emotion. "Can I help you?" Marcus asked. His voice was steady. The man smiled. It wasn't friendly. "We're here for the prince. Security detail. Last-minute addition." Marcus's jaw tightened. "I wasn't informed of any additional detail." "Check with command," the man said. His eyes never blinked. Marcus stepped back. He radioed command immediately. His pulse was pounding now. Something was very wrong. "Command, this is Cole. 3 vehicles at Westgate, claiming to be additional security. Can you confirm?" There was a pause. A long pause. Then, negative. No additional security was requested. "Marcus, get the prince out of there now." The words hit him like a punch. Marcus turned back toward the vehicles. The man in the front seat was still watching him. Still smiling, Marcus ran. He burst through the palace doors. 2 guards looked up in alarm. "Where's the prince?" Marcus shouted. "East Wing." Getting ready to leave. Marcus sprinted down the corridor. His boots echoed against the marble floors. He reached the East Wing in seconds. Prince William was standing near the door, adjusting his coat. He looked up, surprised. "Your Highness, we need to move. Now, not the planned route." The prince's expression shifted. He had been around security long enough to know that tone. "What's happening?" "Possible threat. We're taking you through the secure passage. No questions." Marcus led him toward a hidden corridor. Few people knew it existed. It was built decades ago for exactly this kind of situation. Behind them, Marcus could hear shouting, footsteps, the sound of doors. Being forced open, they were inside. The men from the convoy had breached the palace, and they were coming for the prince. Marcus's mind raced. How did they get past the outer security? Who were they working for? And most importantly, how much time did he have? The answer came sooner than he expected. An explosion rocked the building. The blast threw them against the wall. Dust and debris filled the air. Marcus's ears rang. For a moment, everything went silent. Then the alarm started screaming. Prince William coughed, trying to catch his breath. Marcus grabbed his arm. "We keep moving. Stay close to me." They ran down the narrow passage. Emergency lights flickered above them. Marcus could hear voices behind them, shouting, orders being given. These weren't amateurs. They moved with precision. Military training, Marcus's radio was dead. The explosion must have knocked out communications. They were on their own. The passage opened into a service tunnel. Cold air rushed in from somewhere ahead. Marcus knew this tunnel led to an exit near the gardens. From there, they could reach a safe house 3 blocks away. But they had to move fast. "Who are they?" Prince William asked. His voice was calm, but Marcus could hear the tension underneath. "I don't know yet, sir. But they knew your schedule. They knew the layout. This wasn't random." They reached a metal door. Marcus pulled it open. The garden stretched out before them, dark and empty. Fog rolled across the grass. It felt exposed, dangerous. Marcus scanned the area. Nothing moved. But that didn't mean they were alone. Go fast. Don't stop for anything. They stepped out into the night. The cold hit them immediately. Marcus led the way, keeping low. They moved along the hedge line, using the shadows for cover. That's when Marcus saw them, 2 figures. Stood near the garden gate, waiting. He pulled the prince back. "Down, now." They crouched behind a stone fountain. Marcus's hand went to his weapon. His mind calculated options. The gate was the only way out, but those men were blocking it. Then Marcus heard something that made his blood run. Cold. Footsteps coming from the tunnel behind them. They were trapped. Prince William looked at Marcus. "What do we do?" Marcus thought fast. There was another way. A service entrance on the north side? It was risky. It would take them past the main courtyard. But it was their only chance. "Follow me." "Stay silent." They moved through the gardens, keeping to the darkest paths. Marcus's training took over. Every sound mattered. Every shadow could be a threat. He counted the seconds in his head. Time was running out. They reached the north entrance. The door was locked. Marcus pulled out his emergency keycard. His hands were steady, even though his heart was racing. The lock clicked. They slipped inside. The corridor was empty. Too empty. Marcus didn't trust it. He moved carefully, checking every corner. Prince William stayed close behind him. That's when Marcus's phone buzzed. It still had signal. A text message. From an unknown number. "Stop running, Marcus. We just want to talk." His stomach dropped. They knew his name. They had his number. This wasn't just an attack. This was personal. Another message came through. This one included a photo. Marcus's breath caught in his throat. It was a picture of his daughter, sitting in her school classroom. Taken today, the message underneath was clear. "Bring us the prince, or she's next." Marcus felt rage flood through him. These people had crossed a line, but he couldn't let emotion cloud his judgment. He had a job to do. Protect the prince. At any cost, he deleted the messages. He wouldn't tell Prince William. Not yet. It would only complicate things. Right now, they needed to focus on survival. They reached a stairwell. Marcus opened the door slowly. The stairs led down to the underground garage. From there, they could access a vehicle. Get out of the palace grounds entirely. But as they descended, Marcus heard something that stopped him cold. A woman's voice. Familiar, speaking on a phone somewhere below. "Yes, he's heading your way. The guard is good, but he won't see this coming. Make sure there are no witnesses." Marcus froze. He knew that voice. He had heard it 100 times at royal functions. At security briefings, it was someone from inside the palace. Someone. Close to the royal family, his mind raced through possibilities. Who would betray them? Who had access to the prince's schedule? Who could coordinate an attack like this? Then it hit him. The pieces fell into place. The private security firm. The dissolved company. The inside knowledge. This wasn't just an assassination attempt. This was a coup. And it went higher than he ever imagined. Marcus held up his hand. Prince William stopped immediately. They stood in the stairwell, barely breathing. Below them, the woman's voice continued. "I don't care about excuses. The queen consort wants this handled tonight. Do you understand?" Tonight, Marcus felt his world shift. The queen consort, Camilla. His mind rejected it at first. It was impossible. But the evidence was right there. The voice. The words. The timeline. He looked at Prince William. The prince's face had gone pale. He had heard it too. "We need proof," Marcus whispered. "Recording? Something concrete. He pulled out his phone, activated the voice recorder, moved down to more steps. Carefully, silently, the woman was still talking. The funds have been transferred. Your team needs to finish this. Make it look like an accident, a tragedy. The public will mourn, and we move forward with the new arrangement. Marcus's hand shook as he held the phone. This wasn't just about killing the prince. This was about changing the line of succession. About power. About control. The woman ended her call. Marcus heard her footsteps. She was leaving. He had to see who it was. Had to confirm his suspicion. He gestured for the prince to stay back. Then he moved down the remaining stairs, slowly. Carefully, he reached the bottom and peered. Around the corner, a woman in a dark coat walked away down the corridor. Marcus couldn't see her face, but he recognized her walk, her posture. It was Lady Margaret Ashford, senior advisor to the Queen Consort, one of Camilla's most trusted confidants. Everything made sense now. The security firm, the inside access, the coordination. Lady Ashford had been planning this for months, maybe years. Marcus returned to Prince William. We have what we need, but we need to get you somewhere safe, somewhere they won't expect. Where? The prince asked. If they have people inside the palace, they'll have people everywhere. Marcus thought for a moment. Then an idea struck him. Not everywhere. There's one place they won't think to look. 20 minutes later, they emerged from a service tunnel into the London Underground, the subway system. During palace renovations decades ago, a private access point had been built. Almost no one knew about it. Marcus had only learned about it during advanced security training. They blended into the late-night crowd. Marcus had grabbed 2 jackets from a maintenance closet. They looked like regular commuters now, tired workers heading home. Prince William kept his head down. His face was known worldwide, but in the dim underground lighting, with a hood pulled up, was just another stranger. They boarded a train heading east. Marcus sat across from the prince, watching everyone around them, looking for threats, for signs of recognition, but people were absorbed in their phones, their own worlds. No one looked twice. The train rattled through the tunnels. Marcus's mind was already working on the next steps. They needed to reach someone they could trust. Someone outside Camilla's circle. Someone with the authority to act. I know where we're going, Prince William said quietly. My brother, Marcus nodded. Prince Harry. He lived outside London now, but he maintained a secure residence in the city for visits. It was private, heavily guarded, and completely outside the palace security network. But getting there meant crossing the city, staying hidden, avoiding every camera, every checkpoint, every pair of eyes that might recognize the future king. The train stopped at King's Cross. They got off, blending with the crowd again. Marcus led them through the station, taking side passages and service corridors. His years of experience showed. He knew how to move through London unseen. They emerged onto a quiet street. Rain had started to fall. The city lights reflected off the wet pavement. Marcus flagged down a taxi. Where to? The driver asked. Marcus gave an address 3 blocks from Harry's residence. Close enough to walk? Far enough to avoid attention? As they drove through the city, Marcus checked his phone. 17 missed calls. 10 voicemails. All from palace security. He didn't answer. Couldn't answer. Not until they were safe. Then a news alert flashed across his screen. Breaking: explosion at Kensington Palace. Royal family safe. Investigation underway. So they were spinning it already. Controlling the narrative, making it look like a terrorist attack. Random, unpredictable. No one would suspect the truth. The taxi dropped them off. Marcus paid in cash. They walked the remaining blocks in silence. The rain fell harder now. It was good. It kept people indoors. Kept the streets empty. They reached Harry's building. Marcus pressed the security buzzer. A voice answered immediately. Yes. It's Marcus Cole. Royal protection. I have Prince William with me. We need immediate sanctuary. There was a pause. Then, come up, quickly. The door unlocked. They stepped inside. Marcus felt a wave of relief wash over him. They were safe. For now, but as they rode the elevator up, Marcus knew the real battle was just beginning. They had evidence of treason, of conspiracy, of attempted murder. Now they had to decide what to do with it. The elevator doors opened. Prince Harry stood in the hallway, his face tight with concern. He pulled his brother into a quick embrace. "What happened?" Harry asked. His eyes moved to Marcus. "Are you hurt?" "We're fine," William said. "But we need to talk. Now. Somewhere secure." Harry led them into a private room. No windows. Soundproof walls. A room designed for sensitive conversations. He closed the door behind them and activated a signal jammer. No electronic surveillance would work here. Marcus pulled out his phone. He played the recording. Lady Ashford's voice filled the room. Every word. Every damning detail. When it finished, the silence was heavy. Harry's face had gone from concerned to furious. "Camilla. She's behind this. Her inner circle, at minimum," Marcus said. "Whether she knows directly or not, we can't confirm yet. But Lady Ashford is hers. Completely loyal. She wouldn't act without orders." William sat down heavily. He looked exhausted. The weight of what had happened was catching up with him. If this gets out, it destroys the monarchy. The scandal alone. If this doesn't get out, you're dead, Harry interrupted. "They tried to kill you tonight, William." "They'll try again," Marcus agreed. "Your Highness, we need to act fast. Lady Ashford knows I got you out. She knows we have time to gather evidence. She'll be moving to cover her tracks. Eliminating witnesses, destroying records. We need someone outside the system," Harry said. "Someone who can investigate without being compromised." "What about MI5? Marcus shook his head. "We don't know how deep this goes. Palace security was breached. Communication networks were compromised. If they have people in the palace, they might have people in intelligence services too." "Then who?" William asked. "Who can we trust?" Marcus thought for a moment. Then he remembered someone. "Commander James Whitmore. Metropolitan Police. Counterterrorism Division. He's clean. I've worked with him before. He has no palace connections. No political ties. And he has the authority to launch an investigation." "Will he believe us?" Harry asked. "He will when he sees the evidence. And here's the recording." Marcus looked at both princes. "But we need more than just the recording. We need to find the money trail. The communications. The names of everyone involved." William stood up. His exhaustion was gone, replaced by determination. Lady Ashford's office. Her personal files. If there's evidence, it'll be there. "The palace is locked down," Marcus said. "Security everywhere. We can't just walk back in," William agreed. "But you can. Your royal protection. As far as they know, you're still searching for me." "Still trying to keep me safe?" Marcus understood immediately. "You want me to go back? Alone? Search her office while they're focused on finding you?" "It's the only way," William said. "They think I'm either dead or running. They won't expect us to go on the offensive." It was risky. Extremely risky. But Marcus saw the logic. Lady Ashford would be focused on the search efforts. Her office would be empty. And Marcus still had his security clearance. His access codes. "I'll need backup," Marcus said. "Someone I trust completely. Someone who won't ask questions." Pulled out his phone. Made a call. It was answered on the second ring. "Sarah, it's Marcus. I need you now, and I need you to trust me without explanation." Sarah-chan, Junior Protection Officer. Marcus had trained her himself. She was loyal, capable, and most importantly, she wasn't part of the inner circle. She had no connections to Camilla's people. "Where are you?" Sarah asked. No hesitation. "I'll text you coordinates. Come alone. Tell no one. On my way." Marcus ended the call. He looked at the princes. "I'll go back tonight. Search her office. Find what we need. You both stay here? Stay hidden. Don't contact anyone. What about my family? William asked. Kate. The children. If they're targeting me, don't touch them, Marcus said. Not yet. It would raise too many questions. They need your death to look like an accident. A tragedy. Going after your family destroys that narrative. He's right, but we should move them quietly. Somewhere secure. Just in case. I'll arrange it, Marcus said. After I get the evidence, once we have everything, we go to Commander Whitmore. We hand him a complete case, and we let the law handle it. An hour later, Marcus met Sarah in a parking garage across town. She arrived in civilian clothes, looking confused but ready. What's going on, Marcus? She asked. The entire force is looking for you. They're saying you kidnapped Prince William. They're lying, Marcus said. Someone tried to kill the prince tonight. Someone from inside. I got him out. Now I need your help to prove it. Sarah's eyes widened. But she didn't question him. Didn't doubt. What do you need? We're going back to the palace. Lady Ashford's office. We need to find evidence of conspiracy, communications, financial records. Anything that proves what happened tonight? Lady Ashford? She's one of Camilla's closest advisors. I know. Sarah was silent for a moment. Then she nodded. Let's go. They drove back toward Kensington Palace. The streets were mostly empty now. It was past midnight. The city slept, unaware of the battle being fought in the shadows as they approached the palace. Marcus could see the security presence. Police vehicles. Armed officers. The entire area was on high alert, but Marcus had a plan. He pulled out his radio. Activated it. His voice was calm and professional. This is Cole. I have eyes on a suspect vehicle. East Sector. Requesting backup. The response was immediate. Officers began moving toward the East Sector. The distraction worked. The main entrance was now less guarded. Marcus and Sarah moved quickly. They used their security badges to enter through a side door. Inside the palace was chaos. Officers running. Radios crackling. Everyone focused on the search. No one paid attention to two more guards moving through the SE corridors. They reached Lady Ashford's office. The door was locked. Marcus used his master keycard. The lock clicked open. Inside, they found exactly what they were looking for, and what they found would change everything. Lady Ashford's office was immaculate. Everything in perfect order, but Marcus knew where to look. He had been trained to find hidden things. Secret compartments. False panels. Sarah kept watch at the door while Marcus searched. He checked the desk first. Locked drawers. He picked them quickly. Inside were files. Dozens of them. Financial records. Communications. Meeting notes. Marcus's hands moved fast. He photographed everything with his phone, page after page. Then he found something that made his blood run cold. A ledger. Handwritten. Detailing payments to the security firm. The one that had dissolved 6 months ago? But the payments hadn't stopped. They had continued. Hidden in various accounts, disguised as consulting fees. £5 million over 18 months. And next to each payment, a note. Phase 1 complete. Phase 2 initiated. Final phase approved. This wasn't impulsive. This was methodical, planned. They had been working toward this for almost 2 years. Marcus kept searching. He found a laptop in a drawer, password protected. He pulled out a USB drive. Sarah had taught him a trick, a bypass program used by digital forensics. He plugged it in, waited, the screen flickered. Access granted. Marcus opened the email application, scrolled through messages. Most were routine. Palace business. But then he found a folder, labeled Private Correspondence. He opened it. The emails inside were explosive. Communications between Lady Ashford and 3 other people. Marcus recognized 2 of the names. Both were high-ranking palace officials. The third name made his stomach drop. Lord Edmund Pierce. former military commander, now head of a private security consulting firm. The firm that employed the men who had attacked tonight. The emails detailed everything. The plan to eliminate Prince William. The story they would tell the public. The new succession arrangement. And most damning of all, direct approval from someone identified only as the principal. Marcus knew who that was. There was only one person Lady Ashford would call the principal. Queen Consort Camilla. Sarah whispered from the door. Someone's coming. Marcus grabbed the laptop, shoved it into a bag he found in the closet. He took the ledger too, all the physical evidence he could carry. Then they slipped out of the office through a connecting door. It led to a service corridor. They moved quickly through the back passages. Behind them, Marcus could hear voices, shouting. Someone had discovered the office had been accessed. Run, Marcus said. They sprinted down the corridor, took a sharp turn, descended a staircase. Marcus's mind was calculating routes, exits, ways out. They reached the underground level. The same tunnel Marcus had used earlier with Prince William, but this time there were guards. 3 of them. Blocking the exit, Marcus didn't hesitate. He pulled out his badge. Stand aside. Royal protection. Emergency situation? One of the guards stepped forward. Marcus recognized him. It was one of the men from the convoy. One of the attackers. I don't think so, the man said. His hand moved to his weapon. Sarah moved faster. She struck, hard and precise. Years of combat training. The man went down. The other 2 guards rushed forward. Marcus engaged one. Sarah took the other. It was over in seconds. All 3 guards on the ground, unconscious. We need to move, Sarah said. More will come. They ran through the tunnel, emerged into the gardens. The fog had thickened. It was almost impossible to see more than a few feet ahead. That's when they heard the gunshots. Bullets struck the stone wall next to them. Marcus pulled Sarah down. They rolled behind a hedge. More shots. These weren't warning shots. These were aimed to kill. Marcus looked at Sarah. When I say go, you run for the north gate. Don't stop. Don't look back. What about you? I'll create a distraction. Draw them away. You get that evidence to Commander Whitmore. You tell him everything, Marcus? No, that's an order, Sarah. He handed her the bag with the laptop and ledger. Then he pulled out his service weapon. He had never wanted to use it. But tonight, he had no choice. Go now. Sarah ran. Marcus stood up and fired 3 shots into the air. The shooters immediately turned their attention to him. He ran in the opposite direction. Leading them away from Sarah, bullets tore through the garden. Marcus dove behind a fountain, rolled, came up firing. He wasn't trying to hit them, just keep them focused on him. He counted 4 shooters, maybe 5. All professionals, all well-armed. He was outnumbered and outgunned, but he had one advantage. He knew this garden better than anyone. Every path, every hiding spot, every exit. He moved through the fog like a ghost. The shooters followed. But Marcus was always one step ahead. He led them deeper into the garden, toward the old maintenance shed. Inside the shed was an emergency exit, one that led directly to the street. Marcus reached it, pulled open the door, and found himself face to face with Lady
Ashford.
She stood in the doorway, calm, composed, a gun in her hand.
Hello, Marcus,
she said. I was wondering when you'd show up. Marcus's mind raced. She had anticipated this, had people waiting at every exit. She was smarter than he'd given her credit for. It's over, Marcus said. We have the evidence. The emails, the ledger, everything. Lady Ashford smiled. Do you really think that matters? Do you think anyone will believe you? A disgraced protection officer making wild accusations against the Queen Consort. They'll believe the proof. What proof? A laptop that conveniently appeared after you broke into my office. Files that could easily be fabricated. Marcus, you're smarter than this. She raised the gun, pointed it at his chest. You should have stayed quiet. Should have accepted the story we prepared. Now you've made this complicated. and I hate complications. Her finger moved to the trigger, then a voice cut through the fog, cold, authoritative, unmistakable. Put the weapon down, Margaret. Lady Ashford froze. Marcus turned. Prince William stepped out of the shadows. And he wasn't alone. Behind him stood Commander James Whitmore and an entire team of armed Metropolitan Police officers. Lady Ashford's face went pale. "It's over," Prince William said. "We have everything. Your emails, your ledger, your recordings. And now we have you." Commander Whitmore moved forward. "Lady Margaret Ashford, you are under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, treason, and attempted assassination of a member of the royal family." Officers moved in. Lady Ashford's weapon was taken. She was handcuffed. But even as they led her away, she was smiling. "You think this ends with me?" She called back, "You have no idea how deep this goes. No idea who's really in charge." Marcus watched her disappear into the fog. The battle was won. But he had a feeling the war was just beginning. 3 days later, Marcus sat in a secure conference room at New Scotland Yard. Commander Whitmore sat across from him. Between them lay stacks of documents. Evidence. Proof of everything that had happened that night. "We've arrested 14 people so far," Whitmore said. "Palace staff, security personnel, 3 government officials, and Lord Edmund Pierce. His entire operation has been shut down." "What about the Queen Consort?" Marcus asked. The question he'd been afraid to voice. Whitmore's expression was carefully neutral. "The evidence you recovered shows Lady Ashford acting on what she believed were the Queen Consort's wishes. But there's no direct communication. No explicit orders. Nothing that definitively proves Her Majesty knew about the plot." Marcus felt anger rise in his chest. She had to know. Her closest advisor, her inner circle. "You don't plan something like this without—" "I know," Whitmore interrupted gently. "I know what you think. What we all think. But thinking isn't proving. And in a case like this, we need absolute proof." "So she walks free? For now?" "But the investigation continues. We're examining every communication. Every financial transaction. Every meeting. If there's evidence connecting her directly, we'll find it." Marcus knew what that meant. Political considerations. Royal protocol. The need to protect the institution even while investigating its members. It made him sick. "What about Prince William?" Marcus asked. "Is he safe?" "He is. We've increased security across the board. New protocols. New personnel. Everyone who was even remotely connected to Lady Ashford's network has been removed."
Us.
Whitmore paused. "The prince asked me to tell you something. He wants to thank you personally. You saved his life, Marcus." Marcus shook his head. "I was just doing my job. You did more than your job. You risked everything. Your career, your life, your family." Whitmore leaned forward. "Speaking of which, your daughter is safe. We've placed her and your ex-wife in protective custody. The threats against her have been neutralized." Relief flooded through Marcus. For 3 days he'd been terrified, wondering if his daughter was safe, if the people who had threatened her would follow through. Now finally, he could breathe. "What happens now?" Marcus asked. "Now, we rebuild. We make sure something like this never happens again. And we wait for the investigation to run its course." "And me?" Whitmore smiled. "You're a hero, Marcus. The man who stopped a coup? The papers are going to love you. Once this goes public, when will that be?" "When we're ready. When we have all the pieces. When we can tell the complete story without compromising the investigation." Whitmore stood, extended his hand. "Until then, you rest. You've earned it." Marcus shook his hand, but he knew rest wouldn't come easily. Not yet. 2 weeks later, the story broke. Every major news outlet carried it. Palace insider plot to assassinate Prince William foiled. The details were carefully controlled, enough to inform the public, not enough to compromise the ongoing investigation. Lady Ashford was named. Lord Pierce was named. The arrested officials were named. But Queen Consort Camilla was mentioned only as someone whose office is cooperating fully with authorities. The public reaction was explosive. Protests outside Buckingham Palace. Calls for Camilla to step down. Demands for transparency. The monarchy faced its worst crisis in decades. Through it all, Marcus stayed silent. He declined interview requests, refused to speak to the press. He had given his statement to the police. That was enough. Prince William, however, made a public address. Marcus watched it from his apartment. The prince stood at a podium, looking tired but determined. 3 weeks ago, someone tried to kill me. Not because of anything I did, but because of what I represent. The future of this institution. The continuation of a line of succession that has endured for over 1,000 years. He paused. Let the words sink in. That person was stopped by the bravery of one man. Detective Sergeant Marcus Cole, a royal protection officer who risked everything to do what was right. To protect not just me, but the principles this monarchy stands for. Marcus felt emotion well up. He hadn't expected public recognition. Hadn't wanted it. Marcus Cole represents the best of Britain. Loyalty, courage, integrity, and I am proud to announce that he will be awarded the George Cross for his actions, the highest civilian honor this nation can bestow. The broadcast showed crowds cheering. Marcus turned it off. He didn't need medals. Didn't need recognition. He had done his job. That was enough. A knock came at his door. Marcus opened it carefully. Old habits. Always cautious. Always alert. Sarah Chen stood in the hallway. She smiled. Thought you could use some company, and maybe some answers. Marcus let her in. She was carrying a folder. Classified markings on the cover. What's this? Marcus asked. The final piece? The one thing we've been waiting for. Sarah opened the folder. Inside were bank statements, offshore accounts, transfer records. We found it, Marcus. Direct payments from Camilla's private accounts to Lady Ashford. Millions of pounds, spread over 2 years, hidden in shell companies. But we traced it. Marcus's heart raced. This proves it. This proves she knew. It proves she funded it. Whether she knew the full extent of the plot, Sarah shrugged. That's for the courts to decide. But as of this morning, formal charges have been filed. Conspiracy. Funding terrorist activities. Attempted murder by proxy. She's going to be arrested. She already has been. Quietly. Before dawn, they're holding her at a secure location while the legal process begins. Marcus sat down heavily. It was over. Really over. The person at the top, the one who had orchestrated everything, was finally going to face justice. How do you feel? Sarah asked. Marcus thought about it. Thought about that night. The fear, the danger, the impossible choices. Thought about his daughter's face when he'd finally been able to see her again. Safe. Alive. I feel like I did my job, Marcus said finally. Like I protected someone who needed protecting. That's all I ever wanted to do.
Oh.
You did more than that. You protected the future. Not just of one man, but of an entire institution. Whether people agree with the monarchy or not, it's part of who we are. And you saved it. 6 months later, Marcus stood in a different room. Buckingham Palace. The investiture ceremony. He wore his formal uniform. Polished and pressed. He still felt uncomfortable with the attention. Prince William stood before him. In his hands, the George Cross. The highest honor. Marcus knelt. For extraordinary courage and devotion to duty, Prince William said. The words were formal, but his voice carried genuine emotion. For actions that went above and beyond the call of service. For protecting not just a life but a legacy. Detective Sergeant Marcus Cole, I present you with the George Cross. The medal was placed around Marcus's neck. He stood. Prince William extended his hand. Marcus shook it. Thank you, William said quietly. Only Marcus could hear. You gave me the chance to see my children grow up, to serve my country, to live. I'll never forget that." Marcus nodded. Words felt inadequate, but the prince understood. The ceremony ended. Marcus walked out of the palace into bright sunlight. Sarah was waiting for him. Along with his daughter, she ran to him, hugged him tight. "I'm so proud of you, Dad," she whispered. Marcus held her close. This was what mattered. Not medals. Not recognition. Not headlines. Just this. Family. Safety. The knowledge that he had done the right thing. He looked back at the palace one last time. Somewhere inside, investigations continued. Trials were being prepared. The aftermath of that night would unfold for years to come. But Marcus's part was done. He had been a royal guard who saved a prince, and in doing so, had saved something bigger than both of them. He walked away from the palace, toward his car, toward his life, toward whatever came next. Behind him, the palace stood silent, a symbol of continuity, of survival, of a system that had been tested and had endured. And Marcus knew that if it ever needed him again, he would be ready, because that's what guards do. They protect. They serve. They stand between danger and those who cannot defend themselves, no matter the cost, no matter the odds, no matter what. That was the job, and Marcus Cole had done it perfectly.